All right. So we are recording now. So welcome to our 5th series of our chakra education. All right, so this is meant to be continuing education for everyone. I love connecting the emotions with the physical, right? So the spiritual as well. This is, for overall wellness, it's so important to be able to understand that we are more than just physical beings. We have an emotional body attached to us that is completely interfaced and integrated with our physical body. So when we understand the connection between that, then we are able to go higher within ourselves to reach maximum wellness, right? So that's what it's about. Maximum wellness, in being in tune with our bodies, with the world around us, and how to be able to tell when we have certain things that may be out of balance. And of course, understanding how to address those imbalances, right? So that's the point of this, is to arm you with the knowledge and the tools to empower you with the ability to be able to recognize certain things and understand what to do about it. So there's tons and tons of tips, and I narrow it down for the intro classes, which this is what this is an introduction to the chakras. And then later on, we can go deeper into, each area if that's what you're wanting to maybe do a one-on-one with me, or just wait for the content to come out, because I'm definitely going there with this. There's so much to explore. But as long as we have the basic understanding and basic tools, then we are definitely headed into the right direction. So no matter where you are at in this journey, we're going to right now just release all judgments, right? We're going to give ourselves grace. And we're also, as we learn about each one of these chakras and we're able to recognize imbalances, then it creates more awareness even with our loved ones and people we come into contact with. And of course, being able to share that grace with them as well. So it's very empowering on so many different levels to understand how this works. If you have not had the opportunity to check out the introduction, the very first video that we go over the root chakra, then you're definitely going to want to do that at some point. So you may be just tuning in for the very first time and you're exploring the throat chakra. Maybe something resonated with you. You may be having certain, like imbalances that drew you to this class specifically. I absolutely would love for you to take the opportunity after this class to go back to the intro, the introduction to the entire series, right? Because I go into more in depth as to, what the energetic system looks like, what that means for us, right? Breaking down that, the fact that we are energetic beings, we're not just physical, and that energy runs through our system and feeds our body and our organs, so it's tied in completely. So we do have electricity. We convert our food into fuel. So you're going to learn a little bit about the different foods, and of course our foods can either heal us, right, or harm us. It just depends on what we consider food and what we're putting into our bodies. And so making the right choices, there's a lot of lifestyle modifications that come into play with this, and that's why we're here, right? We're here to learn how to do that. And I'm excited that you're here, and I'm excited to be a part of your journey. So welcome, and thank you so much for being live with me, because I love when we have people, I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. That's why you don't see too many recordings from me being launched. I like to do the interactive. I want to feel like I have an audience. I'm speaking to someone, because I want to know that I'm reaching people, right? You'll see these as replays as well, and I will be launching some videos. I know that sometimes time is an issue too, so we will have a mix of both. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start this on presentation mode, and let's dive in. All right. So here we are on the 5th one. So I'm excited. We're getting closer to the 7th, right? We've gone through so much content, And so with the root, we focus on the I am part of that, the sacral. This is where your emotions come into play. That's the I feel. The solar chakra is the I do, centered, where movement, action, confidence, empowerment, all of that addressed there. So of course, these three have a lot to do with our digestive system and our immune system. And so we go over a lot of, the importance of cleansing. That's very important. And the heart chakra, right? So that's the I love, all right? You're going to see the connection between all of these as we go through stuff. But for today, because we're focusing on the throat chakra, you'll see that it's in between the third eye, right? The IC and the heart. The throat chakra is seen as a bridge, okay, where the heart and the mind, okay, come together, and it creates, the way we communicate. So it's the things that we think about, play a lot into how we express ourselves, how we communicate, as well as how we're, where our heart space is as well. Maybe if we're feeling angry and we're thinking about something that causes that anger, maybe sometimes we have an emotion, right, an outburst, and we speak out of anger. So and of course, the opposite way happens as well. So you're going to see a little bit of that in connection. We will explore the emotions as well as the physical body systems that it affects. Okay, so the throat chakra is blue. All right, so usually it's a teal or a turquoise blue. It's also pretty much, there's different ranges of the blue. So you might see like a darker color blue, a sky blue, but it's associated with the ethereal. Okay, so it's a sky blue, but beyond the sky is the space above that. So the ethereal space is what's connected here, and that's the association. So there's a lot of emotions that come into play when it comes to this, and being able to understand the imbalances, but what it should look like when your throat chakra is balanced is we resonate, we have a full voice, right? We're able to feel confident in speaking our thoughts, how we feel. We don't really hold back. We're able to just feel comfortable with just expressing ourselves verbally. All right, so we have clear communication with others, and good communication with with ourselves. It's self-talk is so important. So the words that we choose, this is a positive vibe, positive energy, when we're able to say, I did a great job, or hey, I've got this, I can do this. It's the things that we say to ourselves that really, really, really help to either balance or create an imbalance within the throat chakra. All right, being a good listener comes into play with the throat chakra. The ears are part of that system. So in communication, it's really important to be able to express ourselves, but it's just as important to be able to allow others to express themselves as well. So we have to have really good listening skills, and when we're able to speak clearly and communicate clearly, as well as not speak and allow people, to listen, that's so important. People need to feel like they're heard and understood, and that's part of excellent communication. So a good sense of timing as well, and lives life creatively. There's a lot of expression that is expressed creatively. So I want to add a couple more things to that list here. Balanced energy would be living in the present moment, right? Feeling centered, okay? Content and peaceful. When we're at peace, we can communicate and express ourselves so much easier, versus when we are maybe feeling anxiety, right? Or fear or anything like that. So it's the absence of those things, or being able to push through those things, that allow us to. So it's basically taking in that deep breath, collecting our thoughts, right? Centering ourselves, okay, and speaking from the heart. So there's a lot of authenticity, okay, that comes through, and speaking one's truth, okay? So feeling comfortable, meditating and communicating with divine energy, speaking freely, artistic expression, honest and truthful, and healthy sexual energy, all right? So truthfulness, expression of your inner voice, all right? Synthesizing of ideas, healing, willpower, transformation. Purification is a really big one when it comes to the throat chakra. It's the throat chakra, that energy, the frequency there is highly resonating with purification, right? So, and of course, it goes hand in hand with authenticity, right? So purifying one's, what we say coming from the heart, speaking purely, okay, is what I'm referring to. Freedom, wisdom, and integrity, okay? So there's a lot of, we can have too much energy that's being focused there into the chakra, and that can result in certain issues like maybe talking too much, all right? So, and then maybe talking and saying something inappropriately, okay? So inappropriate speech, gossiping, maybe stuttering, there's something blocking the ability to be able to speak fluently and to be able to communicate. Difficulty being silent. Remember, we have to engage the ears. It's part of the chakras. So bringing balance to that area. Let me close this thing that just popped up at the bottom. How do I hide this thing? Sorry about that. I don't think I see that part, but we'll ignore it. Don't worry about it. All right, sorry about that. Let's see, and excessive loudness, okay? Inability to keep secrets. So we have to keep the throat in check, right? So of course we're engaging the mouth, all right? There's other areas, we'll get into the physical aspects of this here in just a minute, but those are when there's too much excess energy. We just want to get things out. We just want to get things out, but it's not coming out pure. It's not in the positive form, and we have to be able to speak in a relaxed fashion. Deficient characteristics, difficulty putting things in words, fear of speaking. Now, I used to have a lot of fear of speaking. And this was a chakra that I really had to work on personally. I had some issues, and we'll go over that here in just a minute. But one of those things was, holding back and not speaking, or maybe not addressing my emotions or my feelings, or letting out how I was feeling. So it caused a lot of blockage there. Right, so fear of speaking, speaking with a small, weak voice. Maybe we're just really timid, and we're afraid to maybe just kind of like express ourselves, right? So holding back a lot there, and excessive shyness and tone deafness. So I'm going to add just a little bit. I feel like these slides that I have here don't share as much as I wanted to give, but we're going to keep it simple. So other deficient, it would be being inconsistent, unreliable, right? Creative blocks. Remember, this is about expression, so it isn't just verbal expression. We express in so many different ways, and so creativity can be blocked through this, because the arms and the hands come into play. That creativity can be affected in that way as well. All right, so some of the ways that we clear blockages in this chakra would be positive affirmations, okay, the things that we say. These are great not only to think about, but also to speak them out loud. And so to be able to bring balance into that it's important to say things like, I speak my truth, right? And also remind yourself to speak your truth. In other words, we're all unique, right? And we can't be afraid to express our true selves. So when we speak how we feel, what our opinions are, what we think about something, that's really important. So whatever's true for you, then that should be said. All right. So my voice matters. I express myself. I speak with kindness. I speak with love. My voice is strong. My voice is clear. My voice is steady. I have an opinion. I have the words I need, and I take up for myself. All right. So again, our throat chakra is our ability to express ourselves fully and to speak and live our truth. It flows with freedom and acceptance for both ourselves and for others. Okay. And all of these things, when we speak our truth and when we voice our opinions, of course, being done lovingly, right? And tactfully, and those kinds of things, with consideration to not harm, but we can express ourselves in a way that, to still be heard without harming another. Okay. A lot of different, another way to express and to release those, thoughts that are wanting to be said. Maybe it's not something that can be said verbally, but maybe journaling is an amazing way to express oneself, to be able to release maybe some of that negative pinned up energy, is to put it down on paper and just writing down your thoughts. Okay. So journaling prompts, you can use would be, when I connect into the energy of my throat chakra, it makes me strong to think that, and that's just to kind of get you started with your writing. But journaling prompts could be anything. You can use the mantras here about, I want to speak my truth about, and then you start journaling on that. What is it that you're wanting to be able to express? What is it that is being said, but you're kind of holding it back and you feel that knot in your throat and you're like, oh, I really wish I could say this. And so put it down on paper and write it out. It helps with clarity and it helps with building up the confidence, but most importantly, you're expressing it. All right, so you can use these as journal prompts. I really like these actually better than these, but it's up to you how you want to initiate that. Okay, so there's lots of different words of affirmation, but I'm going to skip over that one here and come back to it a little bit later. And then we have, of course, we use a little bit of healing crystals, some of us, right? Like I absolutely love using specific crystals for the throat chakra. Aquamarine and turquoise are a couple of examples, and I will show you a few more here in just a minute. And interestingly, most of them are actually blue. So the way you pick the one that you want to use or should use would be more intuitive. Which one, as you look at them, which one are you drawn to most, right? So with it being blue, like we've discussed prior, is to be able to absorb that color, right? To focus specifically with intention on the color of the chakra that we're specifically working with. So you'll see that blue here toward the bottom. You don't see too much of it, but it's in there. You can use things, creatively, like maybe a painting, different things in your home to decorate with that color, your clothing, paint on the walls, so pictures that have blue in it that speak to you. This is actually when I first started really getting in tuned with, actually this happened before I got in tuned with my throat chakra and understood that I even had an issue. I was really drawn to the color blue, so much so that this is actually stuff that my own little crafts here. These vases used to be clear vases, and I wanted to just get creative and paint them. So I was like, what color should I paint these vases? What should I do with them? And I was like, oh, this would be really pretty if I painted in blue, right? So listen to your body, because your body speaks to you, your spirit speaks to you. You know, it's amazing how that works, but what we're needing in the healing, we seek it out, right? We express ourselves in those ways. And so I started painting everything blue, and I started to decorate with it, and I absolutely loved it. This painting here was something that I was like, I'm gonna paint something. I don't know what I'm gonna paint, but you know, let me see. I started scrolling through online, and I saw a stone. And I didn't know it at the time that it was for the throat chakra. I didn't know any of this at this point. But this stone looks so beautiful. I love the detail in this stone. So I was like, I'm just gonna paint this stone. And that's what I did. I painted it, and I was very proud of my artwork, right? I'm not really a painter, but you know, I was really proud of how this came out. And I put this on my nightstand. So I had it with me. I looked at it every day. And of course it's blue, right? And it's actually one of the throat chakra stones that I gravitated toward and painted. So you know, look at the things that you're drawn to, because they're messages to you, right? You're drawn to the things that you really do truly need. And so we do things subconsciously without realizing that we're actually doing things that help us. Sometimes it goes the other way too, but pay attention to the things that you really love. Pay attention to the things that you're gravitating toward, and the things that you're doing naturally. Those are really big hints, especially what your favorite color is, and what you wear most of. That's very telling as well. So, and that's your spirit. That's your, you know, God guides us, like, you know, so we just have to pay attention. He's always connected and trying to show us the way. We just have to tune into that communication. And that's what this is about, you know, tuning into that communication to be able to hear, right? Like, you know, the saying of, you know, be still and listen, because all of that information is being given to us. God communicates with us, and we just have to be still and listen. So a few of the stones, if you're interested in decorating your home with the stones, maybe you want to meditate and hold the stone, maybe you want to put it on your throat chakra. It's, you know, completely up to you. I find them absolutely beautiful. I love decorating with them, and I just feel the energy from them. So, and visually, I'm drawn to the ones that I actually need. So I have a ton of blue stones. These are not my stones. This is just a photo that I got off the internet. But I do have amazing stone pieces. This is a blue kyanite. All right, blue kyanite is known for helping to balance the throat chakra. It actually balances every one of your chakras, but I got it specifically for the throat. And then there's a Larimar stone that is actually a water stone, and that is specifically helpful for helping to regulate the thyroid. So I have a lot of blue stones that help with that. So a couple of names would be Chrysocolla, which is this one that helps with communication, right? Confidence. There's Larimar. I believe this is Larimar. Turquoise. There's kyanite here. Lapis. This is the stone that my very first stone that I was absolutely drawn to. It's a smaller version, but I mean, it has the most amazing little detail to it, and that's what inspired that painting, was this stone right here. So of course I have a few of those. So there's just a few others that would be aquamarine is an amazing one to wear around the throat in the form of maybe a necklace. Aquamarine. It's actually the birthstone for March. So if you are a March baby, then you should be wearing aquamarine. but those are just a few to give you an idea, just to kind of get you started. You can Google throat chakra, crystals and stones, and you'll get a ton of ideas and information. So go to what you're gravitated to. You don't really have to spend all the time researching, like, which one should I have? Start off with what draws you, because you're gonna be drawn to the ones that you actually need. All right. Let's talk about the physical associations. So the throat chakra system governs and is connected to the thyroid, the parathyroid. So the thyroid is actually located in the neck, right? So right here, it's a butterfly-shaped gland that produces hormones that regulates a lot of different things in the body. It helps with regulating metabolism. All right, so it's part of the endocrine system. You're going to learn a little bit more about that here in a little bit, but also, especially in the next chakra series, the third eye is definitely part of, one of the systems that it's connected with is the endocrine system. So we'll go in a little more detail at that point, but the parathyroid is located directly behind the thyroid. And you don't really hear too much about that one. And that one is actually, that helps with regulating calcium levels in the body. So we need, that's why it's so important. I'm always talking to people about vitamin D, because your vitamin D plays a huge part, right? So vitamin D in the system helps the body to absorb calcium, okay? And calcium helps, it absorbs calcium into the bones, which decreases your risks of developing cancer. So very, very, very important. Vitamin D is so important that, it's a flag. When we have a low vitamin D level, it's really important to focus on supplementation, getting that vitamin D level up, because it helps the glands do their job. It's a crucial, our supplements, our vitamins are very, very important, but it helps our glands do what they're supposed to do, and that's for regulating things throughout the body. The lymphatic system runs throughout the entire body. That is your, it's a filtration system that removes bacteria from the body, and it moves it out. So it's like your drainage system, okay? And our lymphatic system actually go through our tonsils, and so we have lymphatic drainage out of our tonsils as well. So you'll see a lot of throat and neck problems or tonsillitis when we have a compromised lymphatic system as well. So keep in mind that it's really important. I'm going to give you some tips on how to focus there in that area and to help support your esophagus, okay? So, the esophagus, of course, can be affected by things that we're eating, cigarette smoking, anything that comes into contact with it. It could even be affected by acid reflux as well. So, the upper and lower, right, and things that we put in, really important. It plays a big role with the esophagus. The neck, okay, so the neck, of course, all of our chakras we're not just focusing on the front of the body. Our chakras go through to the back as well. So wherever it is in the front, it's in the same location in the back, okay? So in the neck, we can have some issues with the cervical spine there. Maybe we have a strain, like maybe a bulging disc, or something pushing on the nerves that cause issues to go down the neck, through the arms and the hands. And it's all coming from the neck. So that pain can be radiating throughout the arms and hands. So you'll see that the arms and hands are also part of the throat chakra. And hearing, okay, so inner and outer ear, okay, that, the hearing can be affected, like maybe diminished hearing, but also the ability to listen plays in, hand in hand with that as well. All right. So we're going to, and hearing, if we have like that ringing in our ears, tinnitus, things like that, and of course that is what we're talking about as well. All right. So there, when our throat chakra is out of balance, then, and it's not in a state of ease, it becomes in a state of dis-ease. All right. So disease that can occur would be throat issues, right? So it could be a sore throat, it could be swollen glands, you know, it could be hoarseness, okay, in our speech, our vocal cords, things like that. It could be tonsillitis, lots of different things that could be happening with the throat. Clearing of the throat, maybe we have a lot of phlegm and we have to constantly clear, you know, those kinds of things, okay? Communication and speech issues, thyroid problems, neck issues, weak immunity, all right? So remember that lymphatic system can be compromised, and of course it can lower our immune system. Our immune system is, you know, in the 80% of it is in our gut, in our intestinal area, and we have a lot of our lymphatic drainage and all of that is happening there. So it's like, it's all connected, okay? Our throat chakra, it makes sense, right, that it would be connected to the gut because what we eat passes through the throat chakra. That's where it's going down the esophagus, right? So water is really, really, really important no matter what we're talking about, but it's very important to moisturize, right? So drinking lots and lots of water helps to maintain the suppleness, helps for digestion, right? Creating a moist tongue and throat is really important, especially we're draining the tonsils. Again, we need to flush, so water is huge. Itching, itchy throat, skin, neck, toothaches, tonsillitis, TMJ, okay, so lots of stress. There can be some even teeth grinding that can happen when the throat chakra is compromised. If it's compromised due to maybe an emotion, or we just need to like get it out, like we have something to say, or maybe we're holding back an emotion and we feel like we can't speak or express ourselves, right? Then we might clench the jaws, right? We're clenching, we're like, I just want to say something, but I'm going to bite my tongue, right? Or I'm going to clench down, I'm grinding my teeth, like, this is so stressful. So those are things that can happen. Flu, fevers, blisters, all right? So we can have those mouth sores out of stress. It's also a viral issue that happens that causes those blisters, and there's a flare-up when there is a lot of stress as well. So infections, hiccups, herpes, and that's the blisters, mood swings, and hormonal issues, right? So of course, we have glands that regulate hormones there. So if that is out of balance, then hormones can be totally out of whack. And there are things though that can help support that. So I love this slide. It's in every one of my my videos. But so of course I'm gonna, you know, I can't emphasize this enough. You know, it's when patients call into the clinic and I have to give them lab results, and you know, I'm giving them the message from their doctor, and the doctor says, you know, you have diabetes or you have this going on. You know, diet and exercise are really important. You can literally lower your blood levels, right? And you can regulate your system with dietary modifications, lifestyle change, because literally food is medicine. We get our essential oils and our supplements and everything, right, from nature, from earth, and these are products of the earth. So these are the things that we need to be consuming to help with raising and unblocking the throat chakra, any blockages that have been created there. But the doctor of the future will no longer treat human frame with drugs. That is the goal. That is the goal. But rather will cure and prevent disease with nutrition, right? Proper nutrition. So I was absolutely like, when I would go to the grocery store, if I could only pick one fruit, it was always the blueberries. I always wanted blueberries. I absolutely love blueberries. I put it in my oatmeal. I put it in my cereal. I would just put it in a bowl and eat it just like that. Like, I absolutely love blueberries. Well, it happens to be one of the fruits that totally support the thyroid. All right. And so, of course, it's blue. Not all of the foods that are supportive of, supporting the thyroid are blue. Some are purple. So you got your blues and your purples. But you definitely want to get those on board. So incorporate your blueberries. Absolutely, for sure. This is amazing antioxidant support. You got your fiber, all the goodness that our body needs for fuel and for clearing out toxins, right? So we want to clear and detoxify the thyroid. We want to detoxify the tonsils. We want to detoxify our entire system. But that is, it's so, so important. So getting those, right foods and fruits on there, any watery fruits, you've got tons of different options. You can eat your water, basically. So we're increasing our water intake and eating our water. And these are some of the fruits we focus on. If you notice the blackberry, I love how nature kind of gives us a guide. It's a visual. Blackberries look like glands. If you look up what a gland looks like on the internet, this is pretty much what you're going to see. So your blackberries are amazing for your thyroid and for other glands. So you have different options here. So you kind of pick and choose the things that you're completely drawn to and things that you love, eat more of it. Okay. If you're, not fond of some of these things on here, it's okay. Eat what you do love and what you're needing. Those prunes, absolutely amazing, right? Figs, just look at the purple grapes there. And, it's fascinating how they resemble the things that we're trying to focus and work on. I'll give you just a second in case you want to take a screenshot of that. Who's ever eaten a purple carrot? I've never had a purple carrot. That's on my shopping list. So, and then of course, on our journey to eating well, no matter how well we eat, we're never going to really get all of the nutrients that we absolutely need because of the way that things are being grown. So our soil isn't as rich as it used to be. And so we need to supplement. This is huge. I cannot express and stress this more. We need our, vitamin D. This has the vitamin D in there. There are things in the LLV that are absolutely cleansing to the system. So we're talking, cleansing, detoxing at the cellular level, or your digestive system. Every single system in the body is being supported, but it has all of the essential vitamins. Some of us, however, are going to need additional vitamin D support. So if you feel like you may have a low vitamin D, right? If you're not getting enough sun or you're not eating vitamin D rich foods, then you're going to want to talk to your doctor. Definitely get your lab work done. We focus on integration of modern and traditional medicine. So we need our doctors still. We need still to have our physicals. We do still need to get lab work to see how the system's working, because we don't have x-ray vision, but we can kind of tell how we're feeling, and we know if something's off. But absolutely know where your vitamin D level is, and if you need additional supplementation, then please by all means take that additional supplementation. Okay, this right here, once you are at your your optimal levels, then this is all that you'll need at that point. But if you're not getting any vitamin D at all, and this is at least getting some into the system, but again, check your levels because we just went over how important that is. All right, so this is your whole food complex that assists the body to heal. Okay, so we're getting rid of all the stuff that doesn't belong, all the toxins that create inflammation in the first place, and the chronic inflammation creates chronic conditions. Right? So those are your thyroid issues, okay? Those are your chronic tonsillitis, all of the things that we just discussed that are just recurrent is because there's recurrent inflammation, and we need to remove what's causing the inflammation in the first place, and those are absolutely toxins, and we have to definitely focus on cleansing and purifying the system. So primary benefits, we've gone over this in the last in the heart chakra series, but just to kind of as a reminder, maybe you're tuning in for the first time and you didn't have the opportunity to go over this, but as you see, you know, general wellness and vitality, antioxidant, and DNA protection. That was huge when it came to me focusing on my thyroid, right? Any system in the body, but antioxidant, DNA protection. What happens when we have inflammation, you know, within certain systems or in an organ specifically or in a gland, right? They stop working the way they should. They get inflamed. They start to mutate because they're going out of balance. Okay, so we want to definitely bring things back into balance and help to support those systems. Energy, metabolism, bone health. Okay, like I said, we're helping the body to absorb that the calcium into the bones to decrease risks. Our immune system, stress management. This is amazing for mood management. It helps to support our hormone levels because we're helping the body to do what it's meant to do and to bring itself back into balance. All right, so skin, hair, nails, brain, nervous system, our eyes, liver, digestive health, lung and respiratory support. All right, gentle on the stomach because of course there's, you know, things in there that have been added like the essential oils. That's a tummy tamer, and it doesn't contain any genetically modified materials. It's dairy free, and there's a vegan formula. So if you're vegan, then we've got you covered. All right, so let's get into the essential oils. Yes. All right, so there's a very long list of essential oils that helps to support this, but I kind of cut it down for you a little bit. So, but you know, I love the emotional side of all of this, right? And doTERRA has done an amazing job. I just love the fact that it's color coded, very simple. So the one for the throat chakra is peace. That's the reassuring blend. There is a blend of oils in there that help with the throat chakra, okay, on a physical level as well. So it's blended beautifully. They come in roller bottles as well as in, you know, the ones that you can drop the oils out of. But I love the roller bottles when we're working with chakras because I want to roll it right over the targeted area. And they come pre-diluted and ready to use. So it's super simple. So this helps with communication and speech as well. There have been tons of testimonials. You know, sometimes I met a mom who was working with her nonverbal child. He has autism and he was nonverbal and was using peace over the throat religiously, like every day, like consistently, right? And she started working with him and he started to unravel and he started to come out of his shell and he started to speak. So, I mean, it's amazing, the testimonials, and the key there is consistency, okay? So understanding what to use and being consistent with it is huge, right? So peace has ylang ylang, lavender, vetiver, marjoram, clary sage, and spearmint. You'll notice that a couple of these oils we've already spoken about in our other series because our system, it just ties everything in, right? So these are, of course, also going to help in other ways with other systems. But specifically for the throat chakra, you know, lavender is the oil of communication, all right? So it's all things calming as well. It helps to relax the throat, okay? So that you can open up and relax and be able to speak from your heart, to speak your truth, right? So ylang ylang is the oil of your inner child. So, you know, remember when we were little and we were just like, say whatever came to our mind without worrying about what somebody might think, right? So, you know, that playfulness that we had, you know, we just we were always expressing ourselves, right? So, and then at some point along the way, sometimes we kind of, you know, clam up a little bit or don't express ourselves as much. But we have to always tap into our inner child and let that child come out and be playful. Vetiver is very, very grounding. So if we're struggling maybe with anxiety, social anxiety and things like that, vetiver is amazing at helping to support grounding and also focus. So it's like focusing, you know, allowing us to focus on what needs to be said, but also relaxing to, you know, allow us to be able to do that. All right, so our marjoram, I just drew a blank on that one, but we have seen how it's an herb, so herbs are very clarifying and detoxing. It helps with anger. It's amazing with the heart chakra as well. So marjoram over the throat, a lot of times when we are maybe coming from a anger, right? As you know, or a frustration or anything like that, then sometimes we can kind of release and express in that way. So this helps with that as well. If people who have maybe some high blood pressure have found that marjoram has been very helpful in supporting that. Clary sage, remember these are the hormones. Clary sage is amazing for supporting our balanced hormones. Spearmint, okay, so interesting that peppermint is actually a hybrid of spearmint, right? So spearmint and peppermint are in the same family. And you've experienced how peppermint opens you up. It opens your sinuses. It helps with, you know, inflammation as well. So it's very opening. Spearmint does the same thing. It's the alternative for children versus using peppermint, because peppermint we know is extremely powerful. Like it's like you don't need much and you are open. So for a child, you know, that we don't need them to open up so much because it can cause respiratory issues. So keep that in mind. Spearmint would be your option. But spearmint over the throat is amazing with confident speech. So it helps with pulling you out of that timidness. So you get that reassuring feeling of, you know what, I've got this, right? I'm going to speak from my heart. I'm going to just relax and I'm going to just say what I need to say confidently. Spearmint can be used in a lot of different ways, you know, internally as a mouthwash, a swish, you know, those kinds of things. You can put it on your toothpaste and brush your teeth with it. So put it in your water. I literally had a drop of spearmint in my water before coming on to do this class. So it tastes amazing. I absolutely love it. And of course, as always, I'm going to remind you that anytime I talk about internal use, I am only ever talking about doTERRA. We are, you know, certified pure therapeutic grade. We have supplement written on our bottles because they are used as supplements, and the ones that have that word on there are safe for ingestion. All right, so when we're feeling worried, fearful, or unsettled, this blend uses a soft floral aroma to promote peaceful feelings and soothe the anxious mind. All right, so other options, of course, you know, peace, we talked about spearmint, lavender. Lavender is also in the antihistamine family. So if we have maybe, you know, we're struggling with some seasonal issues and we have like that itchy throat as a result, then lavender is also a really good one too. So you can roll that on there. A combination of lemon, lavender, and peppermint, it would actually be your seasonal support trio. Lemon is amazing at helping to support, it cuts mucus, so it's good for like if you have a runny nose, right? But also the itchy throat is very cleansing, so it's amazing for your lymphatic system. This is huge for your lymphatic system right here. If you have like postnasal drip or, you know, anything phlegm related, you're having to clear your throat, then lemon is a great one. Add it to your water. Make sure it's in a glass, not any kind of plastic, but in a glass or stainless steel, and just a couple drops and you can drink that. That's the rind of the lemon is where we get this oil. Okay, it's not the lemon juice, so it's not harsh on your teeth. So it's a lot better when it comes to like taking it that way. The lemon is also great, like if on a teaspoon of like honey for, you know, if you have that itchy throat or dry throat, then, you know, a couple drops of lemon on a teaspoon and just taking it just like that. It coats the throat and it really helps to support in an amazing way. So you can actually make like your own DIY cough syrup out of some of these oils, especially, you know, the lemon, lavender, peppermint. You can add some myrrh in there as well. Lemongrass is very, very cleansing to the system. This is a very powerful cleanser, as a matter of fact. And so it clears blockages in any and all chakras. You can diffuse this. It clears the energy in the room even. So it's one of those, it's a very detoxing oil. It's absolutely amazing. I love the way it smells, and it's one of the oils used in the my throat chakra blend that I'm gonna my thyroid blend that I'm gonna share here in just a minute. Myrrh is awesome for even your gum support. So you'll find that in our On Guard toothpaste as well, to help with oral support and oral hygiene. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of tips on that myrrh here in just a minute. It's very grounding to the system. It also helps with the respiratory support as well, but myrrh is amazing support for your thyroid as well. Basil is, of course, an amazing, any of the herbs are going to always be cleansing. You can classify those as cleansing, but great for anger. Okay, so we went over that one in our heart chakra class as well. But basil, interesting, you know, if you're having issues with maybe nodules in the thyroid, basil is one to have on board to apply topically there over that area. Amazing. I addressed that in my thyroid class. There's a completely different video for that. So if you're interested, if you are struggling with your thyroid and you're really wanting to just focus in on an education just on supporting your thyroid, then let me know. I'll share the video. Or if you're in this group, so those of you may not be in our member group and you're watching this, but if you are in the member group, then just type in thyroid in the search bar and that video will pop right up for you. Clove, major antioxidant support, great for teeth and gums. Dentists are using this when, you know, they do a tooth extraction, or somebody with a toothache, they're just putting, you know, clove on some gauze right into that area, or they're numbing the area with that clove. You'll find that in On Guard. All right, it is one of the oils, so you can find it by itself as well if you're just wanting the clove. Blue tansy. Clove, by the way, is also amazing for the thyroid. You'll see that in a minute. Blue tansy blue tansy helps to stimulate, helps the thyroid do what it hasn't been doing. You know, sometimes it's just a little sluggish, so it helps to stimulate the thyroid into secreting the hormone that it hasn't been secreting. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like tells the thyroid, hey, you know, you're not secreting something, why don't you? And his thyroid goes, oh, okay, let's do that. So the Balance essential oil, you know, great for supporting the anxious feelings. So that can come with maybe public speaking or social anxiety or anything like that. Also, Balance is a blend. It has frankincense as well as blue tansy in it. So if you have certain anxiety, you know, anxious feelings that may just be a side effect of an imbalanced thyroid, then Balance is definitely going to be one of your really closest friends. It's one of my number one oils. I literally slapped a roller top on that bottle and I roll it over my wrist, I roll it over my throat, whatever. Usually it's over my wrist though, but Balance is an amazing oil. Past tense, so you've got your neck, right? Your neck and your shoulder issues sometimes, you know, with stress, it gets tight, all right? So this helps with relaxing those, it helps with supporting your muscles to release and relax that accumulated energy from the stress. So it's amazing support there as well. Great for massaging the neck and the the shoulders. Don't forget to incorporate your exercises in with, when you're focusing on your thyroid, just simply tilting your head back as far back as you can to allow the neck to stretch, right? And it helps with, circulation as well. Turning your head over to one side, allowing that side to stretch a little bit. So we've got to stretch out those muscles that are there to help release tension, all right? And tension is just accumulated energy that got stuck. So we have to be able to release that. Cypress helps to move, and it's great for your circulation. So wonderful for that. On Guard, that's your protective blend. We're talking, amazing lymphatic support. But this is, your immune system. Great for helping to keep the body protected, or to help to fight off the cooties that we may come into contact with. And then black pepper. Black pepper is one of those amazing oils that, like, if you're a smoker and you're trying to quit, black pepper, just breathing that in will help with curbing those cravings. So my husband actually quit smoking using black pepper for 3 months, and it was amazing. Like, I was so proud of him. He had tried for a long time to quit smoking and just couldn't. And then he started using black pepper, and voila, that was the end of that story. So he took it with him to work. He kept it in his pocket. So he was, breathing it in throughout the day. Anytime there was a stressful situation or just had a craving, he would just use his black pepper. Clary Calm is amazing for helping to support hormones. Okay. Sometimes it's a monthly hormonal imbalance. For females, we go through our monthly cycle, and Clary Calm helps with that. So you can use that during those times that you need the support. Ylang Ylang, again, helping with supporting the hormones. Clary Calm has the Ylang Ylang in it. There's a couple of the oils on here that are in there. Melissa is absolutely amazing for supporting against viruses. So it's like the #1. That's also known as lemon balm. So it also helps with emotions. So, we really need additional support with uplifting our emotions, then this helps with that as well. So when we think of viruses, we had talked about, in the beginning, the different, we talked about blisters. Sometimes I get those blister eruptions that happen. And so Melissa is one of those oils that helps with supporting against that. So that one you definitely want to have on board. The moment that you start to feel something start to happen, then you would want to start using that Melissa right away. Okay, so the key is to catch it early. You could even use Melissa daily for a while, and just to kind of help support your body to minimize any of those occurrences. Prevention is amazing. Frankincense is, of course, the king of all oils. It's the oil of truth. Okay, so when we add frankincense to any of these things, then it really basically helps to amplify the effects of all of that. But of course, frankincense is, works on the cellular level. Okay, so when we talk about, glands, and we talk about, organs or anything like that that need additional support, on the cellular level, then it kind of helps with that too. So when in doubt, get your frankincense out, is what we say, because it pretty much helps to support all areas. It's a very versatile oil, and over the throat chakra is amazing. It helps to clear out energy, negative toxicity in the auric field, no matter where you apply it. You can apply it at the top of your head, you can apply it on any of your chakras. It's an absolute master oil. It's absolutely amazing. So oil pulling, a lot of people may not be too aware. Well, I've met a lot of people who are, and I've also met a lot that aren't. This was new for me when I first started on this journey. And so I thought, oh my goodness, I need to do this more often. The oil pooling, you can use any of these oils. There's a couple others that you can use, but I think that these three are the perfect ones to get started with. What oil pooling is, it's a process that you use coconut oil, and it's the full-body organic coconut oil. It's basically the one that we cook with, right? The full-bodied oil. You're going to take a tablespoon of that, and you're going to put a drop or two of your selected oil that help specifically with cleansing, oral support, right? It's meant for the throat chakra and for the mouth, so that's all connected. It is highly detoxing, right? So it helps to cool the bacteria. It helps to, pull out, from the lymphatic system and even from our blood system, okay, toxins. And so it's best to do this first thing in the morning after waking up, before you drink water, before you have your coffee, before you brush your teeth. That's the ideal time. And so what you do is you put that, and it sounds weird, and the first time you do it, it is actually weird because you're putting oil into your mouth and it's just an odd sensation. But after you do that a couple of times, it's no problem at all. So you just put that in your mouth and you swish. And you swish for about 20 minutes, as long as you can, up to 20 minutes, okay? And then what it's highly cleansing. You spit that out, but you don't want to spit it out into your sink, because once that oil solidifies from the coconut oil, then we don't want any clogging to happen. But you can spit that, and don't spit it into your toilet either. Spit it into your trash, okay? I used to use like a little sandwich bag, or you can spit it in the trash. When you're done, and then you just brush your teeth like normal. You will see how amazing that is for your mouth. It is extremely, extremely, extremely cleansing, and you just feel so much, better after that. But do that for about, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and see what you experience. It's so fascinating, but it's one of the best ways for detoxing the mouth. So it helps to, of course, support the gums, right? It's cleansing, antibacterial, antiviral, all those things. Absolutely great. So there's a couple of different blends. The throat chakra blend is, there's a couple, but here's one that I really like. 3 drops of lavender, and this is in a 10 ml bottle, okay? So it's 3 drops of lavender, 2 drops of spearmint, and 1 drop of ylang ylang. All right, so we learned about what each one of those does, right? Helps to support the hormones, all right? It's very cleansing, it's opening. We're opening that chakra, all right, to allow for healing, okay, to happen, to release what doesn't belong. We're getting rid of stagnant energy, maybe some blocked things, and the lavender is the oil of communication. So it helps to facilitate confident speech, okay? It helps to facilitate, the opening and flow, all right? So being able to speak our truth, being able to express ourselves, it does so much emotionally, as well as physically. All right, so I'm not gonna get too into detail about the thyroid supporting oils. I do have an actual protocol for this, because this was an issue that I had. I had a thyroid problem that I didn't really target or really understand that I had, because all my tests kept coming back negative. Like I was checking my lab work, and the only thing that was low or abnormal was my vitamin D. And the doctors kept saying, you don't have a thyroid problem. You don't have a thyroid problem. And well, I was in the beginning stages, but I was feeling all of the symptoms. And then finally, yep, I developed a thyroid problem, because I didn't understand how important that vitamin D was, or even how to support my thyroid in the first place. So I accidentally wound up healing my thyroid. And the way I did that was, when I first got into doTERRA, I got in for a need that I was having, and that physical need, I had a tumor at the base of my skull. That physical need pretty much created a domino effect of, I need to really detox my body. Like, I knew that I needed to cleanse. I knew that I had toxins that were creating a lot of issues after researching. I figured it out. I was like, oh my goodness. I started to learn how the body works, and my focus was detoxing. Okay, because I didn't want this to ever happen again, right? So through that process of detoxing, with that tumor at the base of my skull, I had to have it surgically removed. After that, I started doing the detox. That's when I started with doTERRA, and I started to support my scar. All of this happening here in the neck, because that's where the surgery was. And that's where I was focused on supporting, and I was using different things and different methods, and getting into as much healing as possible. I inadvertently wound up healing my thyroid. So I got off my thyroid medication completely. I had nodules that wound up shrinking. The same nodules that my doctor told me that could only be removed surgically. I was somehow able to avoid that. And it was all because I really focused on detoxing and supporting a scar that I was concerned about, healing. Okay. So when I had found out about my situation with the tumor, it was actually after that they were like, oh, by the way, you have a thyroid problem. So I came on board with this after realizing I had an issue. Okay. So here's a blend that I use as maintenance. Here's a blend that I have helped a lot of other people with supporting their thyroid. I have a great story. You can watch the video. It lays it all out in detail. But this is the blend that made a huge difference for me. So here, my endocrinologist ended up scratching her head. I mean, she was like, you need to lower your dose. 6 weeks later, you need to lower your dose. 6 weeks later, she's like, you need to get off your medication. I don't understand. I'm like, do you think it could have been this natural alternatives that I'm using? And she was like, I don't know, maybe, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So I was like, okay. So I used a blend of frankincense, myrrh, clove, and lemongrass. Initially, I did not put the peppermint in there. That's why I have the asterisk there. So the blend that I started off with had all of those amazing supporting oils for the thyroid. They're also amazing supporting oils for the throat chakra, period, right? So I added 10 drops of each one, and then I topped off the rest of that roller bottle with fractionated coconut oil. Okay, and I bought a little label printer, and I slapped on a little label, and I was good to go, right? Since then, I've bought, different colored, pretty fancy roller bottles, and so my oil bottle doesn't look like that anymore, but that is where I started. So you just apply that over your throat chakra, right over literally the thyroid. You have reflex points with reflexology that end in your hands and your feet. So if you're wanting to apply it to your feet instead, you can do that, but that would be the base of your big toe, all right, is where you would want to apply that, or the base of your thumb, okay? So, but I would encourage to definitely apply it over the throat, and you could do that twice a day. These are other things that I was using that actually helped. And like I said, I was not using this intentionally for my thyroid, but when I realized what it did for my thyroid, I said, okay, this is what I'm going to share with people. So this is actually my thyroid supporting kit. So I was using the LOV, of course, because I knew I needed supplementation. I needed the vitamin D. I wanted to cleanse. This is a very awesome subtle cleanse. It's not like one of those things where it's like now you're, it's the subtle getting started kind of cleanse. It's a gentle cleanse. It's supporting your thyroid. Absolutely loves this E omega. So your good fatty, your good fats are food for your thyroid. So make sure you're incorporating that. But this is amazing. Your alpha CRS helps to boost your immune system. Okay, this helps to really build it back up if you're having any immune system issues. This helps tremendously with removing toxins that actually attack and inhibit the immune system. So and then of course we're putting back in with that. DDR prime is your cellular blend. This is amazing detoxification. This is part of our 30-day cleanse system. It helps amazing for cleansing the cellular system as well as other systems in the body. We have lots of different filters, but one of the things that we never usually focus on when we're doing a cleanse is cleansing our cells. We have a bombardment of things attacking our cells. We've got viruses and bacteria, right? We have like when we use our shampoo every single day for like 6 months, we have buildup, right? So we have to change the shampoo to remove that buildup. Well, we have buildup in all of our filters too, unless we're actually cleaning them off. So our cells do the same thing. If we have a buildup on a cell, it compromises the absorption of nutrients. It compromises absorption of oxygen, and all kinds of things can happen. So really, really important to get DDR prime on board. Zendocrine. So when I started, my focus was detoxing. So this is your detoxification blend. However, I had no idea that if you took away the Z, you have the word endocrine. This, and that was the funny part. This Zendocrine helps with, supporting detoxification, the body to naturally detox itself, right? So you're detoxing, your skin and your kidneys and your liver and your, all the different things that it helps with. But this is major for your endocrine system. Okay. So major endocrine support. Immortel, I was actually using that to support the scar that I had. So I did not want this scar to be visible. I was trying to really work on keeping it out of the sun. And there's heliochrysum in here that I heard was great for as a natural kind of like sunscreen. I was putting coconut oil on there too, which also has kind of like those natural properties for that. But rose and everything else that's in there is amazing for scars. So I was wanting to really diminish the appearance of that scar and to facilitate healing. Immortel, however, I had no idea when I was using this that it was actually it's amazing thyroid support. It has thyroid supporting oils in it, and when they first launched this, I believe they actually launched it with the intention to support the thyroid. I didn't know that. Because when I came into doTERRA, it was Immortel already. It was already switched over. So amazing thyroid support. So whether you use the blend that I gave you ahead of this, or you use the Immortel for the thyroid, you're getting the benefits. I was actually using both after I found out that I had a thyroid problem, but this right here was really all I needed, probably. I don't know. So I'm just telling you what I used and my results. All right. So your balance, I used that from the very beginning. I had lots of anxious feelings because it's, also a side effect too of thyroid imbalance. And so I started using that, not realizing that I was supporting my thyroid. There was blue tansy in there. The frankincense helps to support the thyroid. So that helped with that as well. I still to this day use it. Maintenance is really important. And then the PB Assist. PB Assist, that's your probiotic. This has pre and probiotic. And this helps, of course, with your digestive system. It helps with your immune system. Your immune system is, like any thyroid issues is an autoimmune issue. Okay, so when we focus on supporting the immune system and we help to bring that system into balance, then you see how the things that we're supposed to be living with, like these autoimmune things that we've been diagnosed with, that we're told that we're gonna have it forever, then all of a sudden you find out, oh, wait a minute, so I can go to the root cause of an issue and possibly reverse the problem. All right, so I wound up doing the 30-day cleanse. I would say probably 3 months after I had joined doTERRA. So along with the things that I was using, of course, I went and did the detox because that was my main focus, was detoxing. So it detoxes the entire system, your digestive, all your filters, you know, your lungs, the skin. There's this, you know, it helps with the skin even. Every system, every filter in the body, this targets. It's absolutely amazing. It's great to start off with a clean slate, right? So that our body can absorb the nutrients. So this right here, no matter where you're at, if you started off with the cleanse, amazing. You're getting the benefits, more benefit out of your oils, more benefit out of your vitamins, because the body is able to absorb it optimally. So if you haven't done the cleanse, I would highly encourage you to do that so that you can get even more benefit out of what you're trying to do. So starting off with a clean slate is absolutely imperative. So we do have the 30-day cleanse. Reach out to your enroller about that. There's a program that you can, you know, go at your you know, start it at any time. Sometimes I do it as a group. Sometimes it's just a you know, one-on-one. We will give you the encouragement, all the steps to take. It's all laid out. There's no guessing. So just reach out to whoever introduced you to doTERRA to help you get that on board. So it's absolutely amazing. So does anybody have any questions about anything at all? Does anybody need help with finding maybe the video, or does anybody want to schedule some time to go into any of, you know, the topics a little deeper? Maybe something resonated with, you know, either on the emotional side or on the physical side, and you want to hone in on that area specifically. You know, reach out to your enroller, but, you know, I'm always open to meeting with you, you know, as well. We can do it like a 3-way call, even if you'd like, and we can work on those types of things. Okay, so I'm here to support you, and I'm proud of you for taking all the steps that you've taken, and I absolutely appreciate you for being here with me, and I look forward to sharing the next topic. So just to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be going over in the next one. So the next one is the third eye, right? So that's located here. And we're focusing on the pituitary gland, endocrine system, the neurological system, left brain hemisphere, the left eye, nose, ears, sinuses, the conscious mind, and small muscle control. So it's getting pretty deep, guys. If you haven't watched the other ones, please try to do that, or at least, you know, the one before here. Remember, we're building upon each chakra, and the associated diseases with that, we'll kind of go over it just to kind of give you just an idea. Depression, panic attacks, headaches, migraines, brain cysts, tumors, strokes, dizziness, blindness, earaches, deafness, seizures, learning disabilities, spinal issues, insomnia, sinus. I mean, and some of it, a couple of things, you know, will be a little bit of a repeat of what we just did because they're connected, okay? Absolutely connected. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for being here. You guys take care. Bye-bye. All right, so I've stopped the live stream. If there's anybody on here that wants to stay on with me to talk about anything, please by all means do that. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. You have a great day.